Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my RP life. Follow me on Twitter. Join me on Facebook. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because this platform was created for you, the blind and visually impaired community, so that you can share your stories and what you go through. I am your host, Juan. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my RP Life podcast. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my RP Life. I am your host, Juan. I have a special guest on, my big sister, Tricia, aka the Foxy Lady. And before we get started, subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can also join my Facebook group at My RP Life Family and Friends. I am the admin there, and my beautiful Diva Deb is also the head admin. Yep, the head admin. So, my special guest Tricia was on my podcast about a month ago, and now she's back again to tell her story about her brain operation. So go ahead, Tricia, you got the floor, girl.
Thank you, Juan, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's good to have you here.
Okay, well, I talked a little bit about my brain surgery in the first podcast we did.
Right.
So today I'm going to talk about how that has affected me afterwards.
Oh, okay.
When they did the surgery, they had to actually remove my pituitary gland completely. Your pituitary gland is called the master gland because it controls almost all of the hormones in your body.
Okay.
It is responsible for blood pressure, metabolism, and so much more. It controls your TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, which tells the thyroid to work.
Right.
It controls your ACTH hormone, which is cortisol, otherwise known as adrenaline. It controls your antidiuretic hormone, which is the ability for your body to retain water or fluids. It affects estrogen, testosterone, hair growth. It also affects prolactin levels, which is breast milk when you're pregnant. It also controls oxytocin, which is usually during childbirth, but it also affects some other stuff. It's very, very intricate and complicated. If you remember that song from elementary school, you know, the foot bone's connected to the ankle bone and the ankle bone's connected to the leg bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one thing affects another.
Right.
I am now what they call panhypopituitary, which means that the actual definition is that one or more of your pituitary functions is not working. Well, none of mine work because I don't have a pituitary gland.
Right.
Basically, what I have is most people know it as Addison's disease, and anyone who's ever heard of that is probably because either they have a family member or friend with it, or Because of John F. Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the main reason anyone even knows what that disease is.
Yeah.
Statistics vary on that. It's like 1 in, I can't remember, close to 100,000 people, have Addison's disease.
Right.
ER doctors, paramedics, even, regular doctors at the hospital do not know how to treat it.
Oh, so it's untreatable then.
It can be treated, but you have to know what you're doing. Because it's so rare, they're following normal protocol and reading textbooks that I think were published in 1972, which would be as old as I am.
Yeah.
If you go into an ER, they maybe read a couple of pages on that when they were in med school. I actually had an ER doctor argue with me about how the disease worked.
Wow, really?
I was like, dude, okay. Who is the person that has had this disease for 14 years? Me, not you.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't believe me, call my endocrinologist.
Yeah, you study more up on it than any of those doctors in there.
Oh, you better believe it. I have read everything I can get my hands on. Addison's disease is listed under the National Organization of Rare Diseases.
Yeah. And because just in case, since I haven't been putting up on my podcast, let them know because I know some of them might not know from the last one, but let them know that you're visually impaired because of it, and also describe like how you kind of see now because of it.
Yeah. I had a prolactin-producing pituitary macroadenoma, which damaged my pituitary gland, having to have it completely removed. But the tumor was large enough that it compressed against my optic nerves. And during surgery, I guess it was pushing up against the optic nerves. So it damaged it completely. I have no vision at all, not even light perception in my left eye. I have tunnel vision in my right eye. I can see big objects. I can see outlines of things. I had to go into the laundromat today. I'm house sitting for my son and brand new daughter-in-law while they're on their honeymoon. And I can see the buttons on the machine to set it for hot, delicate, warm, whatever.
Right.
But I cannot read what it says.
Right.
So I had to ask someone to help me. But, I can't read small print. I can't see facial expressions very well. And it's tunnel vision. So if I'm looking straight ahead, I can't see what's on either side of me, above me, or below me.
Right. Oh, okay.
It's kind of like looking through something that's a little bit smaller than a toilet paper roll. Okay. You had sight previously, so if you remember when you were a little kid, or when I was, they had those little goggle-looking things, and you could put a little plastic disc down in there and click it, and it would move the images, and they had animals and different things on it.
Oh, you're talking about that 3D, I forgot the name of it. It was like, I think it was either red or orange, and you put like the little disc in there.
Yeah.
And you click it.
It's like looking through one of those.
Yeah.
That's all you can see is, just
yeah.
That little area there.
Yeah, what's in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like with me,
or
the toilet paper roll thing too.
Yeah, like looking through a pair of binoculars, but you don't have the distance,
Right.
and the magnification that you would have in a pair of binoculars.
Yeah.
But basically, with Addison's disease, it's one of those silent diseases, kind of like diabetes.
Yeah.
People don't know you have it. It can cause all kinds of havoc. I have to take medication that they give to children for wetting the bed, for water retention, because my body doesn't retain fluid.
Right.
Otherwise, everything just goes straight through you.
Right. Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I finally got put on medication for that. I had to have a discussion with my doctor because either he was going to start buying my toilet paper or we had to do something.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we have to put your bathroom in your room and stuff.
Yeah. And that was hard. If you wanted to go out to an event, and be there for a while. Yeah. And then the no adrenaline. Okay. That's the biggie right there. Your body produces cortisol or adrenaline when you have that fight or flight reaction, but it also produces hormones for emotional stress, whether it's good or bad. My son got married last Saturday, and that was a good stress. But it was joyful, it was wonderful, it was beautiful. But getting everything ready, getting everything prepared, it was just stress.
Right.
And your body does not produce that, so you have to take steroids for the rest of your life. Which, creates a multitude of issues. Your weight is one of them. It's not an anabolic steroid, it's a corticosteroid. Sometimes they give it to people when they're ill to help them, get better.
Right. So with the steroids, it makes you gain a little bit of weight also?
When I first got put on steroids, I weighed 125 pounds. I gained up to 203.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Okay, I was 148 pounds when I was 9 months pregnant.
Wow. So, and how long did it take for you to gain that weight while you was taking the steroids? Like, it happen rapidly, or did it take like a month or two?
It took about 6 months, and when I was trying to get it off and just trying to adjust to the visual impairment, because they sent me home, no resources. Here, have a nice life.
Yeah, they do that.
So I was, just kind of fumbling around, and, I finally just, when they told me I weighed 203, I looked at my nurse and I was like, I weigh what? And I looked at her and I was like, oh, hell no.
And when
that's when I went on a real, serious, diet change, exercise, and my weight fluctuates now between probably 130 and 150, depending on, if I have to take extra steroids for, stress, illness, trauma.
And with the steroids, right, as you gained the weight from the steroids, like, were you still eating normally too, or like, did your diet change to where you was just eating whatever and then You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know much about the steroid stuff, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, they will make you gain weight.
Right.
Okay, I completely cut most salt out of my diet. I cut out fried foods. I started baking everything. Instead of using garlic salt, I use garlic powder. Onion salt, I use onion powder. One of the biggest things that helped was just being more active. We got a swimming pool that was from Walmart, and it was like 4 feet deep.
Right.
And I would get out there and I'd clean the pool, and I would get in there and I would just walk laps around that circle of the pool.
That's cool.
And then I would turn around because the water would start like a vortex. So then I would turn around and I had the pressure of that water, and I was walking against it.
Right.
And that helped me a lot. And when we lived there, I was able to walk back and forth to a little store up the road. So I was a lot more active, and
right.
That helped me a lot to lose some of it. And I do watch what I eat. Believe it or not, I eat very, very little. My mom gripes at me all the time, telling me I need to eat more than what I do. But yeah, everyone, you know this. My biggest weakness is Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I cannot do diet. I tried years ago. I really, really did, but
yeah, it tastes different. Yeah.
No, I can't do it. I can taste that fake sugar a mile away. Try to pour that in a cup and fool me. Ain't gonna happen.
Right, yeah. You be like, hell no, I ain't drinking this. Trying to psych me out.
Diet, no.
Right? Yeah, that's like me when I tried, what was it, Diet Pepsi one time, I think it was. I was like, And at that time I wasn't diabetic, but I was overweight. And I was like, nope, don't like Diet Pepsi. But now I drink it. But,
honestly, I tried a bunch of different diet sodas a long time ago when I was still working before I lost my vision. I sat behind a desk more than 8 hours a day.
Wow.
And, so I took the stairs. I worked on the 7th floor. And every so often they would offer a free Weight Watchers class. So I signed up for the free ones, and I thought, what else am I doing? So I learned a lot, and when I was doing Weight Watchers, I tried the diet sodas. Probably Diet 7-Up is about the best I can say there, as far as my liking. But I'd rather have unsweet tea than a diet soda. No.
I never tried unsweet tea before.
That is all that my grandmother ever made. She did not make sweet tea. If you were at her house, you got water, milk, or unsweet tea. So I grew up drinking it, and it doesn't bother me.
And I was gonna ask you, okay, so the tumor, I don't remember if I asked you this before. So is the tumor totally removed, or do you have a little bit left in there, or is it?
They removed everything, but they did tell me that if there was even one cell left there, that it could grow again. And 5 years later, it did.
Oh, wow.
It's very small. I am on medication that's supposed to shrink it or at least inhibit growth.
Right.
I have to have MRIs every year. If it gets to a certain size, then they don't want to do another surgery. They want to do a pinpoint radiation.
Oh, pinpoint radiation. So basically But they won't cut you open. It is basically like throw radiation through the skin to the skull. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna aim it at that tumor and zap it.
Okay. That's good.
Which is kind of scary. I mean, that's really close to the optic nerves, and if they mess up the other one that I still have some vision in, I'm not gonna be a happy camper.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, girl, because I'll be pissed the hell off too. I'd be like, you serious? You know?
Yeah, no, I'm very, very grateful.
But everything's under control though, right? Like.
Yeah, I go this month actually on the 10th to have an MRI. Hate those things, by the way.
Yeah.
But then I'll have a follow-up with my neurosurgeon in July to get the results of it. So
I just pray that you keep, like, with all the meds and stuff, everything stays shrunkened up and not, you know, and not growing and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, me too. And all I can say is, you know, if I have to have radiation, then I'll have radiation. And I'm just not going to let this thing defeat me. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, it took my sister's life, and I'm going to fight like hell.
That's right.
Till my dying days, you know, to do whatever I gotta do. And
that's right. You keep fighting. Don't give up.
You know, the no adrenaline sucks because there's a lot of things. I can't go to amusement parks and ride rides anymore. I tried to ride a tilt-a-whirl with my son, and yeah, that didn't work out very well.
So basically, because of the no adrenaline thing, you can't get excited because of you.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're on a roller coaster ride, like, people get excited and stuff. For you, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, if your cortisol gets too low, though, okay, that's when you can have tremors, sweats, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, disorientation. You can pass out. You can go into a coma.
Wow. So no wonder why you're like when you're in the group and we're all chit-chatting away, and I hear you hop in there, you got like a good energy about you, but then there's days it's like, hey, what's up, guys? You know? And I'm like, uh-oh. She might be real tired. You know? Yeah,
well, it affects your sleep patterns. It affects your metabolism. It affects your blood pressure. It affects, you know, a little bit of everything, honestly. You know, on, you know, days that are really stressful, you know, usually I take a little extra just to kind of help. And
but it's
best. You learn to read your body and know, you know, when you're having a bad day and when you need to up your dosage a little bit. You know, I've only had, I think, one adrenal crisis, which I was able to get under control. And if you're sick and vomiting and cannot keep your medication down, you have to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so that they can give you that medication in an IV form.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't hold it down and stuff.
Yeah. So if you're throwing up for more than 24 hours, it's time to go to the ER. How fun.
Right. And so far you haven't had no like really episodes where you pass out and stuff, right?
No, I've never passed out. Now, I have had a couple of bad spells where I got real dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kind of like when, if you've been drinking
Mm-hmm.
and you get the spinners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like the whole room's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you can't even walk. I've dealt with that. Like I said, sometimes your stomach gets real upset. You can have cramps, just all kinds of different things. And when one thing in your body gets out of whack, then it affects another thing and another thing and another thing.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're always hydrated. That's one of the big ones. Make sure that, I try to avoid extremely stressful situations as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I try to remove myself from those.
Right.
But of course, there's always going to be situations that you cannot remove yourself from.
Yeah.
Like the death of a loved one. Those have hit me very hard, and I've, had to really updose to get through that. But it also it just wears you out emotionally, physically, just in every way. I mean, it's like you could sleep for 12 hours.
Right. And okay, before all of this, I don't, I'm catching brain farts, girl. My bad. But okay, so this all happened when you was younger, right? So how did they find out in the beginning again?
They found out because I had to have a hysterectomy in 2002. And I don't know, 6-9 months later, I started lactating, producing breast milk. I thought my hormones were just out of whack because of the surgery.
Right.
So I went back to my doctor, and they did a blood test and checked my prolactin levels, which is what produces breast milk. And mine were sky high. I mean, through the roof.
Wow.
And they called me at work and told me I had a brain tumor.
Wow. Yeah. I'd have been like, what?
I mean, I went in the bathroom and I stood there and I cried and I cried and I cried. And one of my friends came in and she took one look at me and she's like, who do I need to kill? and I looked at her and I just, and I just shook my head and I was like, that's not going to help this time. That there's nothing anyone can do.
Right.
And my boss asked me if I wanted to go home. And I told her, not really. I know my production today is going to be in the gutter, but I really don't want to go home and sit there alone.
Right.
My mom lived 5.5 hours away. So it's not like I could, just go to my family. They all lived a good distance from me. So
right.
I stayed at work and, went home and took care of my kid.
Right. Yeah.
And once he was asleep, I sat there and cried my eyes out.
Yeah.
And then I had MRIs following up after that. I left that job and went somewhere else, and I worked for an eye doctor. Okay?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for an eye doctor. He knew I had this going on. he did an eye exam on me with all kinds of this fancy technical equipment at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Never the neurologist, the eye doctor, no one told me, yeah, you could lose your vision from this.
Wow.
That was back before internet, and all of that. So,
Yeah.
I didn't have a way to research all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could have gone to the library, but again, the books would probably have been from 1954.
Mm.
But, so it grew rather large, which is why it compressed against the optic nerves.
Right.
I did have vision in my left eye before they did the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I did see out of both eyes. When I woke up, I had no vision whatsoever in my left eye and just the tunnel vision in the right eye.
Wow. And how big was it when, do you know how big was the tumor? Was it like the size of a golf ball? Like, was it the size of a quarter?
Like right now, they said it's the size of a pea.
Oh, okay.
Which is what's regrowing. I would say it was probably, close to a golf ball.
In the beginning, right?
And inside your head, there's not room for that.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah. I know, that must have been squeezing against your optic nerve like crazy. Yeah.
Well, I noticed I was losing some peripheral vision. I went out to a store with my son, and he couldn't have been 9 or 10 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to step down off this curb to cross the street, and he grabbed my hand and pulled me back. Yeah, I was fixing to step out right in front of a car.
Wow. And you didn't see it at a distance or nothing?
Nope, didn't see it out of my peripheral, and just started to walk on out.
Wow.
Like I said, my 9 or 10-year-old son grabbed my shirt and yanked me backwards, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. He's like, I know.
He was all kinds of confused.
Yeah, I know. He probably had the upside down emoji faces.
He's just looking at me like,
Mama, what the hell?
I thought you told me to look both ways.
Right? But you was in that moment of getting ready to cross, because sometimes that happens, so.
Yeah, I was in that, had him by the, by the hand. We're getting ready to cross the street. He was just getting ready to go, and he just pulls me.
Right? He was like, heck no, we ain't crossing.
Yeah. I don't want to get splattered. I want to go. Yeah, good idea, son.
Yeah. What else I was gonna tell you? So you're not planning on, because I know you have a little bit of vision left. I know it ain't perfect, but are you planning on maybe getting a guide dog one day, or no?
I've thought about getting a guide dog. I would love to have one, but until we move into a place that is more accessible than where I live right now.
Right.
I live literally on a state highway.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
There's no sidewalks. Okay. You have a little, the little bit of room on the edge of the highway,
Right.
on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen semis coming down that road at 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
I am not walking down that highway.
Yeah, no.
Not with a dog, not with my cane, not happening.
Yeah, God forbid, yeah.
So once I move, which I'm sure eventually we will, I will consider getting one.
Yeah.
I just have not done so because I do not want to take that opportunity away from someone that can actually use one.
Right. Yep.
I am at home so much that I feel like that would be taking away from, someone who actually needs it to get around.
Right.
I get around pretty well with just using my cane.
Yeah, that's like me. Like even though
I have started training my dogs though, and they're just pets. But when I'm out in the backyard, when I say inside, they go to the back door.
Right.
And they just guide me.
Right.
And I've tested it. One, I have gone out there with my eyes closed, a leash in each hand, and just let them guide me.
Right.
Through the whole entire yard.
That's cool.
And I'm walking very, very slow, so I don't run face first into a tree or a limb or something.
Right. Yeah.
I was walking real slow, but yeah, I completely tested that out multiple times,
Yeah.
And when I say inside, okay, it's time to go inside. Take me inside. And two of them are real good. They'll just start walking towards it. And when I hear their paws going up the steps, that's when I know I've reached the porch.
Right. That's good though. You do that with them, train them and stuff. Like with me, I wouldn't mind getting a guide dog and stuff, but like just being in this neighborhood, nah. I don't trust the other people with their dogs. Because mostly around here there are some little dogs, but then you also got like the pit bulls, and some of these owners don't keep them on a leash, and
some of those pit bulls are probably friendlier than some of the chihuahuas, if you want the truth.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm not really worried about the pit bull though. I'm more worried about how the owner treats them and has them trained,
Exactly.
So that's what I'm worried about. I'm like, if I'm walking with my guide dog, I can't see that dog approaching, So
right, and you can't see its stance, or you can only hear
him, and you can't see like the body movement, the way he's looking, or what he's about to do and stuff like that. And especially if they ain't got him on the leash, then my dog is gonna go at it, just to protect me alone, especially if that dog decides to attack. And that's my worry.
I had an English Mastiff.
No, those are big. Yeah.
That weighed 198 pounds.
Yeah, that's a pretty dog. So.
They're gorgeous. They are the biggest gentle giants I've ever seen in my life. I absolutely love that breed. But people are scared of those dogs because of their size.
Yeah, I love those dogs. Those are beautiful.
I volunteered at an animal shelter for a while. And when I walked in, they said, "Are you okay with the big dogs?" And I looked around and I said, "What big dogs? I don't see any big dogs."
Right.
Because when you say a big dog, I'm thinking of a Mastiff.
Yeah.
And they're talking about a 60-pound, a Labrador. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this.
I don't know. I forgot the name of this dog that I had seen when I had sight. Oh man, it was big like a Great Dane, but they were like real shaggy like. The lady told me that they used that dog in some type of movie. I forgot the name. I don't know if it was Game of Thrones or what, but it was real tall. It was like pretty much, his head was like up to my shoulders, and he was really shaggy. I forgot what they called him. Man, I hate when I forget.
Well, I know Great Danes are one of the giant breeds. So is a Mastiff. But they have different breeds of Mastiff. It could have very well been a Tibetan Mastiff.
Probably.
Those things have a lot of hair. They have almost a mane that looks like a lion.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So it's probably that one.
Love that.
Yeah.
I could have one of those dogs, but I can't afford one.
Yeah.
The one that I had, I got as a rescue through my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2.5 years old. His owners were moving and they didn't want to take him.
Oh, man.
He did not have one knee bone in his body. My mom's Laza Opsa would bark at him. Mm. She would jump up and attach herself to his jowls and be hanging she'd be up off the ground.
Wow.
All he would do is just shake his head, and just toss her across the room. Like, oh, she think you're new.
That would look so funny.
But he also slept in the same bed with my Min Pin Chihuahua mix.
Right.
And he was gentle enough, and had been taught, that he has to be careful. He can't roll over on her.
Right, yeah.
And, seeing her next to him, it's just like, tiny dog, huge dog. I mean, you could almost put a harness on him and put a little kid and let him ride him as a horse.
Right out. Yeah. Hold on, girl. Let me see how much time we got on this thing. Hold on. Let's see. 4 p.m. $40 minutes. Okay, so we got 40 minutes on here. You got anything else that you want to share?
Well, I just want to say that if you don't know what Addison's disease is, or adrenal insufficiency, it is also called that. Look it up.
Right.
There is information out there. Most of it's pretty basic, but it gives you all the signs, the symptoms, warnings. I wear an ID bracelet because if I'm ever in an accident and knocked unconscious, I need them to know what to give me.
Right, exactly. And that's another thing I was gonna ask you before we cut this podcast. Does it affect mostly women that get this, or is it men also, or does it matter? And
it's more common in women than men, but both can get it.
Okay, and then the other thing is, before we go, what's that's the word I was looking for. What is do you know the percentage or I had it right there. Is it, I know it's either or, women or men can get it, but how many people, what is the percentage of the people who usually would get something like that? Is it 1 out of a million? 1 out of a...
1 in 100,000 people have Addison's disease.
Oh, okay.
I believe there is about 26,000 people in the town of Sherman.
That have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, no, there's 26,000. That's the population of the town of Sherman.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, I'm probably the only person, in a 100-mile radius that might have it.
Yeah.
But we also live out in the country, where very, rural. It's not all on top of each other like, where you are.
Yeah,
The cities here aren't populated like that. They're just small little towns.
Yeah, it's spread out,
Yeah.
All right, girl. So, thank you, Tricia, for being here, telling your story again, because I know the last time the audio was cutting in and out, and right now, like, I heard you totally clearly, and I'm also gonna listen back, because I like listening back to the audio. But I guess that's it, girl, and I just want to tell you thank you for being on my podcast, and you're welcome anytime to be here. If you got anything else you want to talk about and stuff like that. So thank you, Tricia, aka Foxy Lady, for being here. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Juan, just in case you're new here. And please subscribe on the platforms that Anchor puts me on, such as Spotify, Google Pod, and iPod. And subscribe to me on YouTube, My RP Life. Follow me on Twitter. And if you would like, you can also join my Facebook group, My RP Life Family and Friends. And my Diva Deb is the head admin there. I'm also the admin, but she's the one that runs it. Love you, baby. And you guys all take care. Have a blessed day wherever you are in this world. Thank you again, Tricia, for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.